Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. One of the common questions that I always get is, why are there so many details in fiqh? Now, every science really has a design, if you may. A design that clarifies what aspect of the religion it's covering. When it comes to fiqh, what I truly think would be the best expression for the representation of the knowledge itself, its outlining, its details, right, is that it's a conversation. We have verses in the Quran, in the Sunnah, ijma', and we'll call the fourth one possibilities and arguments. Okay? So Quran, Sunnah, ijma', consensus, and possibilities and arguments. Let's call it that, right? And that would include things like qiyas, amal ahl al-Madina, sadd al-dhara'i', etc. So what's happening is we all agree on the first three for the most part. Okay. So initially our discussions are there. And there's already ijma' in place how you understand most of these verses and these texts and these commands, right? So a lot of it you can't say that madhab fulan, that dhuhr is 4 rak'ah. No, you can't say that, because that's already said and done. There's no opinion here, right? So the issue happens in that realm of possibilities and arguments. Now, should we look at it in this way? Should we look at it in this way? Should we address it with this format or with that template? So on and so forth, right? And these initially start as discussions, or a statement was made, or a fatwa was given, right? And then the discussions continue on. So those details that you're seeing throughout the text, they're not just a scholar sitting back and saying, okay, here's this mas'ala, and there you go, there you have it, it's done. That's not actually what's taking place. What's happening is that the following student from the original speaker commented or added some details onto it. And then the student of the student came and said, no, student, that was your opinion there that you just added in. And then the next one comes and says, no, it wasn't, that's what he said. And then the next one comes in and says, you're all wrong, this is what he meant. And at some point, who can say what, when it comes to the original speaker's statement, kind of we have a cutoff, right? After that, we're just going to build and work on what was said. Because the further you get away from the original speaker, the harder it would be for you to understand what the original speaker actually said and meant. So there's a process to it, right? But it's a discussion. And then those that came after said, okay, well, I checked out all the works, all the texts that were ever written, or all the ones that I got a hold of. And I see that, the wajh of the mas'ala is this, and this is the mu'tamad. And then someone else comes and says, what are you talking about? There's a nas on this mas'ala. Shafi'i himself spoke about it. Why are we mentioning awjuh if Shafi'i himself spoke? And that's what it is, really. It's continuous discussions on every mas'ala that that's mentioned within the works, within all of the fiqh books. So it's that complete dialogue that you're seeing. Tamam. Now, this is where a really beneficial method that I recommend to some students who have been studying for a while. If you're reading a mas'ala in the books of the muta'akhirin and you don't get it, you don't understand the mas'ala, of course ask a scholar, that's the easiest thing. But if you don't have the ability to do so, you can backtrack. So keep on going back in time in the books, right? Until you get to a point where someone actually clarified it and spelled it out for you. Because the further you go back, the closer you'll get to the full story, the full mas'ala, the surah of the mas'ala, or in better terms, the heart of the discussion. Wallahu a'lam.